Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the Philosophy for Philistines channel with its host, Bill Reimer. Here in the second day of totalitarian tyranny in Ottawa, I'm going to dedicate today's podcast to our Prime Minister. I think that just inflation Trudeau deserves to have something dedicated to him, given the fact that he's done so much to Canadians. Two, not four. Radical leftists are nothing but political prostitutes and liars, since they know full well that they require the permission of those whom they govern to use the maximum force of the state to steal from the governed. The ruling elite do so under the false pretense of having compassion for the downtrodden, while also claiming to represent the citizen they're stealing from. In this, the elite have created an unreconcilable and false dichotomy. What this might be properly called is an illegal protection racket. It is organized crime at the highest level, aimed at robbing the citizen in plain view, while claiming that this thievery is for our own good, even as they label us as racists, bigots, and homophobes. In a podcast entitled "He Fooled Us All and He Will Do It Again," clinical psychologist Dr. B Peterson refers to the Prime Minister as a master of lies. Although I am rude to disagree with a man as learned and careful as Dr. Peterson, I do disagree. I was never fooled by Trudeau and found his lies revolting long before he became Prime Minister. Nevertheless, Solshin is playing at my feet, aren't you? You know? Do you want to say hello to the folks? Here, come here. This is the little fella that's making all the noise. Can you be quiet while Grandpa finishes? Yeah, I love you too. Good boy. Go play. In a podcast entitled "He Fooled Us All and He Will Do It Again," clinical psychologist Dr. B Peterson refers to the Prime Minister as a master of lies. Although I am rude to disagree with a man as learned and careful as Peterson, I do disagree. I was never fooled and found his lies revolting long before he became PM. Nevertheless, I have pasted the link to Dr. Peterson's assessment of this narcissistic psychopath who currently substitutes for our PM in the notes attached to this podcast. Now, back to some ancient Norse writings called homophobes. They date back to the 13th century. It's an Old Norse poem attributed to the sayings of Odin himself. Homophobes consists of several smaller poems, and they refer to the sayings of the High One, hence Odin being the author, the man, the Norse god, who hung himself upside down in Yggdrasil, the tree of wisdom, and lost an eye to gain wisdom. It is regarded as one of the most important sources of Old Norse philosophy from the Old Age to now, and it was written in the ancient Norse language in Iceland, which has changed but little even today. Modern Norwegian, which I speak, albeit poorly, is called bokmål, and it's considerably easier for an Anglophile like myself to have learned. So, from hovedmål, verse 26, an ignorant man thinks all he knows when he sits by himself in a corner, but never what answer to make he knows when others with questions come. A witless man, when he meets with men, had best in silence abide, for no one shall find that nothing he knows if his mouth is not open too much. But a man knows not if nothing he knows when his mouth has been opened too much. Wise shall he seem who well can question and also answer well, not as concealed that men may say among the sons of men. Often he speaks who never is still, with words that win no faith. The babbling tongue, if a bridle it find not, oft for itself sings ill. In mockery no one a man shall hold, although he fare to the feast. Wise seems one oft, if not he is asked, and safely he sits dry-skinned there. So there are some wise words that definitely apply to Trudeau. He knows everything between the two mountains where he lives, except for when he's exposed to anything outside of his own echo chamber. He has deliberately surrounded himself with sycophants and toadies that whisper dark things in his ears. And I seriously wonder, given the cabal that exists behind this nation, with the Desmarais family in Montreal Power Corps and its deep links into CCP-led China, Pfizer, Moderna, and the World Economic Forum, the corruption is so utterly elite that I can hardly believe that any informed person could actually believe a single thing that comes out of Trudeau's mouth. And still, he has not met with the truckers to face their legitimate concerns. Even as the chief of police has resigned in disgrace. Always the little guys fall first. We're seeing people now from the military speaking out against what's going on. We have of course, the former premier of Newfoundland suing the federal government for breaching our right to movement through the provinces and in and out of the country at will, which the Charter guarantees. The last living signer of the Charter, as I have mentioned often in previous podcasts. We are being governed illegally. The declaration of the Emergency Measures Act does not meet the criteria. The act that it replaced, which was called the War Measures Act, was only invoked 3 times in Canadian history: during the First World War, during the Second World War, and during the FLQ crisis in 1970. This idiot has evoked emergency measures so that he can crush bouncy castles. I pray that God judge this man for every lie that has come out of his mouth against the citizens of this nation. These lies cannot stand for long, and he is as witless as the man in the Hovemole poem speaks of. Have a great day, folks. We've got challenging days ahead. Stay strong, stay calm, stay peaceful, and face the man by looking him down in the eye and telling him the truth.